Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Hello, welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's Milton's first son, Tim Hoey. We're expecting the Barber to the Stars any moment, but we'll start the show without him. All right, first of all, we want to thank our great sponsor, Pizzeria Dante, 415 Harvard Street in Brookline, Mass.
Yeah.
Brought the wonderful
pizzas
that sit there and will be consumed by all of us very soon.
A sports talk show marches on its stomach.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, fellas. So we start with the Boston Red Sox and breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. This just in. There you go. There's our new graphic. Thank you, handsome Todd. Breaking news. The Boston Red Sox, well, we realize that Dustin Pedroia is not only finished for this season, but he's finished for his career. And if you're scoring at home, that's $40 million more that we owe him after this season. Well, the Red Sox just signed Brandon Phillips, a 15-year veteran, actually a big-time player at one point, to a minor league deal. He actually had pretty good stats last year for a couple of teams.
What strikes me is how much dead money we have now. We have Sandoval, $18 million.
Sandoval, Hanley Ramirez the rest of the season.
Ramirez.
Come on, Pete. Come on in.
Hot from the barber chair.
Yeah.
Sit down in the chair.
Yeah, right.
Jack it up. Traffic was terrible.
Did you make sure to punch in? Because we're docking you for 2 minutes.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Judy and
Second takedown.
Judy.
When's the show start?
There's Pablo Sandoval.
there he is.
We're paying that fat tub
That's
of
what I
goo.
used to look like.
Yeah, right. We're paying him for the next couple of years. All right, so Brandon Phillips, a good move. I don't know why they didn't do this a few weeks ago. Yeah. He's going to start in the minor leagues, but a guy
Does this
that
mean Pedroia is officially dead?
you would think that
He's
Red Sox signing
open
Brandon
a beer
Phillips to a
and
minor
sitting with his
league
feet
deal
up.
would pretty much suggest that he's done for this season at
moving
least,
Is
right?
he still on the team?
Pedroia? Well, he's there cuddling up to Cora. Do you notice in the dugout?
Wasn't me.
Right, he already looks like he's ready to go to Florida, retire. But again, the Red Sox owe him for the next 3 years a total of $40 million.
Is that what he's got coming still?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
After this year.
So what he'll do is he'll go to spring training every year. He'll go into the
that
trainer's
he's
room.
so
Price
He'll
of
go,
water just went up at Fenway.
He'll go, owie, owie, owie. They'll go, okay, Dustin, come back next year in spring training. And then, well, you would imagine this insurance company.
What is the
covers
breaking
this.
point on dead money?
Yeah.
I mean, where does John Henry just
The
put a
wife
gun
and the
to-
kids are in
put
the
a-
car. Come on,
When does he have to?
Yeah, right.
When does he have to sell that boat sitting down at the Boston Harbor?
No, but
Hotel?
Timmy, I assume, but the Red Sox have it's always been a question whether they take insurance policies out. They don't always take insurance policies out on their big contracts.
Yeah.
But if they have an insurance policy, then it's covered.
Not necessarily. The player would have to be unable to play.
Yeah, right.
Or
I'm
the
saying,
insurance player. They're not going to cover, say, something like Dustin, Pedroia. They're going to say, the guy's a malingerer.
Joe being an insurance adjuster in his parts. And that's exactly the word they would use. Malingerer.
U.S. Postal Service. Malingerer.
I love that word.
Malcontent.
And you know, Pedroia's going to be like, I don't know, am I? Yeah, right.
You
No,
know,
you're right.
I think he'd play if he could. I do.
Well, I assume so.
He's a gamer. I've always taken him as a gamer.
But let's be honest, Timmy, and boys, he got hit by lightning on the day that he stood in the front of the dugout. in Baltimore's Camden Yards and said, "It wasn't me."
wasn't
That
me.
was it. He might as well get hit by
That was
lightning,
the
right?
beginning of the end, wasn't it?
Well, it was the beginning of the end.
However, though,
Yeah.
to Timmy's point, though, he knows he's better than Brock Holt.
Right.
He knows.
Well, that's not
I don't
hard.
know. No, but he doesn't have to be low of himself to be
Setting
on.
the
He
bar
can make
awful low
crutches.
there, Pete.
No, you keep saying that, but where would you be without him?
I'll tell you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Seriously.
I sat behind the dugout 2 nights ago, and Sunday, and Brock Holt entertained the entire group behind the dugout the entire game. Everyone else thought it was the ball boy. I had to point out that was one of their
He's
players.
the Red Sox maitre d', right?
is, he
Yeah, right, exactly.
Who would be? What would you be without him? He
I
plays
don't know.
a
What do you
lot of
think?
innings.
What is he doing so special? He has not.
He's playing.
The
He
joke.
entertains the crowd behind the
The
dugout.
knucklehead. He got caught off third base a few games
that's
ago.
every other game.
in the little league
They
play.
all do.
You tell when you're being poked. You're poking you right now.
What are they doing? Because I think he did have a home run once.
Oh no! He's better than
He's an
that.
all-star.
Inside
right.
the park.
He's an all-star.
Seriously, if Dustin Pedroia lost a leg in gangrene, I would still take Pedroia at second base over Brock Holt.
Let me phrase it another way. So where would you be if Brock Holt wasn't on the team?
What's that?
That's not really fair.
I would be very happy.
No, but who would be playing second?
Do you
all this
think,
time?
Pete? Do you think we have?
Obviously, they went and got Brandon Phillips because they didn't like the idea of Brock Holt playing.
Do you think we're playing at a historic pace for the history of the Boston Red Sox because of Brock Holt's contribution?
No, I'm not saying that he's the reason for the success. I'm just saying
He's
good
an
thing
ingredient.
they had him.
Yeah, right. He's been a good Band-Aid. I'll give you that. Absolutely. Yeah, right.
He did do half decent this year when he did get in.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I'm not talking about Brock Holt when there's so many
I know,
other
let's
things.
talk
All right.
about it.
All right. Because
Why not? Pete keeps bringing it back to
Because
Brock
we'll
Holt.
get to Brock Holt, okay, and Jimmy G and all these things. But first of all, we have to get on. And the Grandstanders Live has carried the torch to say that the worst millennial athlete in this town for the last few years has been one Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer, right?
yeah.
Would you agree? The most pathetic loser of a human being. I mean, if he's not, going in front of the cameras and saying, "I didn't smack my wife,"
I only beat her up a little.
Right, exactly. So now what happens is that Stephen Wright finally he's been pitching pretty well for the few, starts that he has. He spits the bit, gives
One
up
bad
10
start.
runs, and what do you think?
Oh, I'm hurt.
Time to shut it down. Why is he shutting it down? Because he doesn't want to expose himself because he wants to get another cushy 1-year deal next year, right?
Well, he's not a millennial because he's 52.
Yeah, he just looks like that, right? But he's shutting it down because he gave up 10 runs, not because he has an hour,
He's going out on top for the year.
right?
Well, he'll be back.
No, that's not. And then when he says that when he does come back, he doesn't know if he wants to start anymore. He thinks his knee feels a lot better in relief pitching.
What's he getting paid this year?
He gets paid like a couple $1 million.
Okay, so
but
we're
He
getting our money's worth out
he
of him.
can't find it in himself to say, I got to go out and try harder. I got to do better. He just says, oh, it must have been an injury. David Price does the same
Well,
thing. Whenever he gets boxed around, it must be the elbow.
We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, we
knew It was
did.
going to happen. We even said it was going to happen, but not like this, not this dramatically.
But when you say you want to be, when a knuckleballer says he wants to just come out of the bullpen, what he's saying is, I like mop-up duty. I don't really want any high-pressure
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah.
Right. If
Not
you-
real life.
If you guys are down 9-1, seriously, I'm your man.
me a call.
right? And you can imagine
That's
how
a
good
good
this knee
gig.
feels. Yeah, absolutely. We all wish Tim Wakefield could
He's
still
right
do that
there
here.
to ask questions of.
Yeah, right. So it's just kind of seeing that Dave Dombrowski may be losing control of the team, not Alex Cora, but kind of Dombrowski, where guys are doing whatever they want, right, and know they can get away with it, right? So Joe has mentioned this many times, and I'm going to repeat this because of Brock Holt. It's the results are in the primaries and the general election. The Red Sox are the stupidest team in the major leagues. Would you
Dumbest
give us
stumps.
that? I mean, each player is stupider than the next. I'm going to give Andrew Benintendi the stupidest award, right?
Yeah,
But-
well, I give it to him too. That Arkansas education comes through, right? Every time.
Devers, right?
He's 19.
Brock Holt, Stephen Wright, Matt Barnes, Tyler Thornburg, wherever you are. Their base running is absolutely pathetic, right?
It's like they're not even thinking about where they are.
Right.
They have no clue of where they are. They're
Is
in a
that the
baseball
player's
game.
fault or is that the club's fault? I'm just throwing that out there.
No, players. It's the players.
Right.
fault.
Well, I mean, yeah, That's a great
I
question.
mean, by college, you should know that.
Yeah.
But you should.
But the coach should be on him to remember, anyways.
I guess it
Reminding
might go
him.
back to Dombrowski. Like Belichick, when he picks players, he looks at their football IQ quite a bit. I mean,
Right.
obviously, we're not doing that. We're going off their swing and their power, and we're not putting much stock into
Running into outs.
They're not all Marty Barretts, that's for sure.
Well, it's more an individual game than a team
Pedroia
game,
was
too.
a smart player. I mean, Manny is as dumb as he was. He knew the game, and Big Pappy knew the game. It seems like we got a pack of dummies now.
We sure do. And
Well, they should be docked or something.
but they should be embarrassed in the
Should be
dugout like they used
should
to.
be a
right?
kangaroo court in the clubhouse.
They should be when they come in. Somebody should be greeting them at the stairs, right? Embarrass them. And we don't have this excuse. The Red Sox, of course, are playing unbelievable, but we have got no contribution from rookies all season.
You know, how
there
many-
are no rookies that are in the pipeline.
Getting
Right?
back, getting back to the intelligence thing, that might win you 3 or 4 games in a year playing smart baseball versus playing dumb
Well,
baseball.
could lose you 10.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. It could be the difference, just that baseball sense.
Yeah, a great point, Timmy. And we know we're going to go to the playoffs. We're pretty confident. And
those
that
are
could,
tight games.
And
Do you
that,
remember
right, that's
do you
a
remember
4-3
the
game,
Indians
right?
beat us with managerial decisions, tagging from first on that long fly ball last year.
Right.
Where nobody would have thought of that. Tito was thinking of it, and that beat us in that game. That guy tagging from first to second in that playoff game.
Yep. Attention to details.
Does
Attention
this
to
happen
detail.
on Joe Madden teams?
I don't know. I always think Joe Madden's
Joe
pretty
Madden mails
overrated.
it in now.
He is
Yes.
overrated.
I don't think it happens on Buck Showalter's teams as much because, as we know,
He's busy himself.
Buck will replace the pitcher before the guy finishes running around the bases. But I think there's a point where they do stop listening to the manager or the coach. Would you agree
Yeah.
with that?
Well, yeah, and there's a reason why the Patriots don't go offside as much as other teams too. I mean, so it has to start.
It starts at the beginning. Who we're picking.
Yeah.
You wish almost that they, look, there are times when they make mishaps in the outfield where the old time Billy Martin, Reggie Jackson, where literally they get replaced during the innings.
Jose Canseco.
Yeah, right.
Well, on the other hand, though, the guy's hitting 35 home runs, but he's a dumb base runner. You gotta go. You know what? Well, I'll take the 35 home runs and live with the mistakes.
But they don't have
That's
to be a
good.
dumb base runner. They don't have. This is literally
Well, some of them
stuff.
just are though. They're just dumb.
That Brock Holt cost them that game because Mookie Betts was up. When he made that ridiculous move and ended up, of course, that was the third out in the inning. But then Mookie Betts led off the inning, got a single. That would have meant 2 runs, and next thing you know, you have a tie.
Now you're just
No, but that's
projecting what might have happened.
yeah, but that's what
You're
you
just
do.
trying to dump on Brock.
What's that? Well, it was a stupid move.
No, okay, but you're projecting what would have
Yeah,
happened.
oh, absolutely. That's what I
You
do.
didn't have to fake it to second. You just
And he
threw it
doesn't
right
even have the
in
hat
there.
on.
The whole
either.
show of projections. All right, would you agree right now that Sandy Leon is a better player than Christian Vasquez?
I like Sandy Leon. I think when I see a guy on second and 2 outs and we need a hit or a sacrifice fly, 1 out or something. Sandy Leon seems to come up with that hit more times than not.
Yeah,
I like Sandy Leon.
Would you like to see is Sandy Leon our number 1 catcher in a perfect world?
He's the number 1 hitting catcher.
Right, and then we know
Yeah.
the Red Sox. That's the priority, right?
Yeah, and a lot of the pitchers seem to like working with him. Remember when he was injured, the pitching staff went into a real tailspin a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I
Sale
think it's
certainly likes him.
an interesting decision with Cora moving forward as the season gets later in the season.
Leon
and
seems to
playoffs.
me like he might have some leadership qualities too.
Yeah, no, I like Leon.
Well, most catchers do. I think
Yeah.
it goes with the position.
That's a great pickup. We picked him up off the scrap heap. All right, so I know Joe had said that J.D. Martinez is starting to talk a little trash, but so we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But
What? Not negative. We're not going negative.
no, we're not going to go negative with J.D. Martinez. And I was looking back in my memory bank, and could J.D. Martinez end up being the best free agent signing?
Well,
in the history of the
Manny
Red Sox?
Manny Ramirez is a tough one to
History?
beat.
In the history
Manny
of the Red Sox.
better than Manny Ramirez.
Okay.
Jack Clark.
All right, I'm going to give you Manny. All right, okay, for all. All right,
He might be the best free agent in history.
Did Bobby come as a trader or as a
He was
waiver wire?
he was a
guy?
trade. Was he a trade?
No, he was a waiver wire. All right, I'm going to give you
Martinez?
right. All right,
Was
other
Pedro
than
Martinez?
no, Pedro was traded for.
Pedro was
All right,
traded for.
other than Manny, will
Well, if he's not the best,
Well,
he's
JD
one of the best.
JD Martinez be second?
Oh,
because
yeah.
we've had a lot of misses.
Oh, yeah.
But we're only half a year in.
Carl Crawford.
Right, but does Jamie D. Martinez look like a guy that all of a sudden,
Right
oh my
now.
God, there's a reason we speculate
Right
about
now,
free agents?
right now, he's making the Red Sox really fun to watch.
He certainly, I think they all thought he'd play well in that ballpark, but not to these.
They usually get to Boston and die the first year. He is one of the few guys who is
And
just
on the road.
coming through.
But he's
No.
must-watch at-bats
Yeah,
now,
you know
right?
how many times we got a guy to
Yes.
say, "Oh, it's taking him a year to adjust." David Price, all these other guys. He has just come in running, and it's
Yeah.
been very
Well, he-
exciting.
He came in a little before it got warm, you know.
Yeah.
And his history
They all
over the
struggle.
years has been, before the All-Star break, to be kind of a dud. And all his fireworks are usually after the
I heard a quote
All-Star
too.
break.
Said someone said they've seen him hot, and he's not even hot yet.
Yeah, and he's proves to be a clutch guy too.
Yes,
really,
he is.
yeah, he
Yes,
puts
he
on
is.
good up at bats against tough pitchers.
And he's a good pro.
Yeah. All right. I hate to give you this bad news, and you know we all love here at the Grandstanders Live Rafael Devers, but Rafael Devers' WAR, which is wins against replacement,
Above replacement.
is far lower than Pablo Sandoval, who's playing for the Giants, and statistically is having a Pablo Sandoval year.
but it's a better year than
270,
Rafi.
6 homers, but it's better than Rafi. Yeah, that fat tabagoo, who is an absolute disgrace and never even gave us a half a day's work.
I lent
right?
him those shorts.
Look at that. Is now actually a productive player back at his old team, the San Francisco Giants. I mean, there should be an investigation, really. If he ever comes to Boston, the police should be waiting at Logan to arrest his butt.
Is
Grand
he playing
theft.
every day?
No, I don't think so. But so I ask you, Rafael Devers,
He's young. He's young, and he's got
is-
raw talent.
We could
The
clearly
old
do better right now.
sophomore slump. Let's see, if he comes around at the end of the
He
year.
obviously has some raw talent.
And I'm going to ask this question, and I just, you guys have to
Just
answer
watch
it.
it. Remember that
I'm gonna-
Walders Chapman.
Just answer. Should we have not got rid of Pablo?
What?
Absolutely. I think
Yes.
we absolutely should have got rid of
He
him.
shot his way out of town.
Okay, so we should. Okay,
Oh,
all right.
without
okay.
a doubt.
Yes,
Because
without a
again, with the premise that we were paying him anyways.
He wasn't great last year for San Francisco either.
No, but look.
His whole he just brought a
did-
negative.
I think he was considered the worst, the
just-
least amount of production.
he
among all
brought he
three.
brought a negative vibe to the whole team.
Well, don't forget the thing about him was he was supposed to be the bridge to Devers.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the bridge was gone and you had to bring Devers in. And that's not really fair to Devers.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out because we are paying the guy $20 million a year, and he's somewhat productive for another team. And doesn't that get in your
He
car
had to
a little
go.
bit?
He had to be
A lot of
jettisoned.
it.
He was like a rotting carcass in a
Yeah.
rowboat that you couldn't keep rowing with. He
He
had
was
to go.
the albatross around their neck. They had to get rid of him.
Just his
Just
whole
like Hanley. Hanley had to be gotten rid of.
everything.
Right.
He-
I don't. Differ.
Wait, he gets to keep the money even though he's playing for another team?
Yeah, no, he gets actually a top of that. They no, he gets the minimum
from the
which is
Giants.
then taken away
Yeah,
from
he's
the
getting
Red Sox.
$550,000, I think, from the Giants.
Yeah. All right, so boys,
On top of the $18 million from the Red Sox.
Wow.
so we have a big series coming up against some team called the New York Yankees, and
Yeah.
it's about time that we started playing them head to head because it's just been, back and forth,
I know.
1 game, 2 game deficit and stuff. So I ask you, is this not only the biggest series of the season, but if we can sweep them, do we really send the Yankees a message?
Can we sweep him?
I think we can, right?
Well, they got the pitching staff lined up.
Right. Look, our starting pitching. When you take David Price right now, Chris Sale, and Rick Porcello, I would match those three.
But I'm waiting for Price to have a little injury when he
a
faces
blister, a
good,
blister.
when a good lineup comes to town.
Who's going against Severino? Whatever.
I don't know. I don't know who the matchup. Price is going on.
It'll be Price, Sale, and Rodriguez. It'd be-
Do we know who's pitching tomorrow night by any chance?
No. So, boys, Sunday night baseball. That of course, the Red
I
Sox
hate
and
that 8
Yankees.
o'clock.
And it's first of all, you hate it if it's at Fenway because that's just the worst if you have tickets. But it's the worst broadcasting crew of all time. Don't get me. Look, I'm not saying Jessica Mendoza sucks because she's a woman, because I love people like Doris
yeah.
Brooks is one of my favorites.
You're married to a
all
woman,
time. Yeah,
aren't
I'm
you?
a woman, right? And I love women more than anyone. And then Jackie McMullen and people like that. So I'm not going to even say that.
Jackie's
But
great.
Jessica Mendoza is the worst announcer of all time until they were able to bring in Alex Rodriguez. who's not only the worst announcer, but one of the most disgusting
There is
human
something-
beings
there
of
is-
all time.
There is something so ingenuine about Alex Rodriguez. And as he's looking at the camera, you can see like the wheels turning in his head saying, what do people think of me? What do people think of me?
Yeah.
Is my hair right? Is my tie match my suit? I mean, the guy is so insecure. I think it comes across on the camera.
So really, is it? Can you even watch a game like that?
No, I
Because-
really don't like when he's on there.
Yeah. So do you turn off the sound, or what do you do?
I don't watch.
I don't
him at
watch
all.
them. I usually go to bed, man.
Yeah, this is where ESPN's just terrible, right?
Yeah.
That they force feed these people to us.
I
just
like
trying
when we
every-
had our old guest there, Tim Kirchin, on that time.
Yeah, it was good. All right, so boys, we have a new feature, and we've been doing this for a while. Would you do it? And we're going to do this with a number of our sports teams. Would you do it in a trade?
This is a very new feature.
Yeah.
By the way.
So
This is an easy
Rafael
one.
Devers and Erod, and we'll give them some minor league for a signed Manny Machado.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Done.
So Rafael Devers, Erod, and a prospect for a signed, meaning we have
Why
to
would
sign.
they got rid of Erod before?
I know, but all of a sudden Erod's become a legit, at the very least, a third starter. Maybe
They knew he had good stuff back then. He was a head case.
He was a head.
I mean, would you agree that Erod has some trade value right now?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So you're gonna go down a pitcher.
You're giving them
Swapping-
a potential Manny
swapping-
Machado,
Swapping third
who's
base.
I guess you would have to look.
Devers.
You'd have to look. Who are we putting in place of Erod? Who, if we have someone decent lined up to fill Erod's place, that's one thing. If we have nothing there to fill that slot with, that makes it a different
Yeah,
equation.
and our minor league staffs don't look too good.
No, but would you agree when you hear these trades for big stars that always seem to be undervalued, what they gave up? You know, right? You're not impressed.
4 top prospects, and none of them ever make the
Right.
majors.
So you'd be giving them two legitimate, not prospects, two legitimate Major League Baseball players
Yeah.
and a prospect for a guy that, clearly doesn't want to play for the Orioles anymore.
How old is Machado?
Charles probably
26, 27. Yeah.
So you guys would all do it?
I don't know, Scott. I tell you, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
I'm not a
the
huge Machado fan, so that's.
Yeah, I'd throw Devers for Machado,
I'm
obviously,
a
but the
big Machado.
Erod, it's like who do we? If we have someone half decent to fill that slot
How
in the pitching
about,
staff,
And plus, he
Devers
was still on
and
the-
Jackie Bradley.
hey, he's 7 for 8, something like that. Last
And
few
maybe
days.
Brock Holt. Yeah.
I can't tell where Erod is on the arc now. I can never tell whether he's on this side of.
I think he's on an upswing.
They've already got one of the worst center fielders in the world down there.
Adam Jones,
Yeah.
you've got him. I love Adam Jones. I would take him in a second over JBJ.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to. I don't know why. You kidding me? I know Adam Jones wouldn't come here. I know. I understand the whole thing. All right, so you guys watch this draft, the NBA draft. So I know none of the guys who were going to be drafted in the mid-20s, as I'm
Yeah.
sure none of you. But then all of a sudden, you could start hearing the whispers in Twitter. If we could around 17. If Williams is available, Williams. So then I'm getting excited about Williams.
Most of the draft boards had him about 12, I guess.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, then you're begging, oh please, now you're into it by around 23, and look who we get, but Robert Williams.
He's a dog with a capital D.
He
He overslept
overslept
for his initial press conference.
Oh come on, Joe, he's a young
Oh,
man.
and he says, I forgot about the time
I'm just
change.
glad he didn't OD. I mean, seriously? Come on. No, look, the guy just got drafted by the Celtics. He was at a big party in a restaurant where everybody was there. Why can't he party a little bit? He's a young
Oh,
man.
you can party, but
You
show
gotta
up.
make your meeting.
And then those were memes, a
He
phone
could
call.
barely, talk.
Yeah, because he was hungover.
It's time to be an
Seriously.
adult,
Here's the
you know
thing
what I
about
mean?
him that I like. He's a component that the Celtics are missing because of this. The games that I watched in the playoffs, there was a lot of swatting going on, and none of it was going on by Celtics.
Right,
Yeah.
great point. Yep.
I mean, LeBron was blocking shots. Embiid was blocking shots. The guy in Milwaukee was blocking shots. No one could block a shot for the
Giannis.
Celtics. This guy can block shots.
Yeah, if that's the only thing he does when he's on the
and
court,
here's the thing,
is to protect the middle.
Situational guy.
And
Yeah.
right now, in Danny, I trust. This
Well-
guy, Danny has just been hitting the right buttons and making the right decisions. I
Well-
mean, if Danny's picking him, I think Danny knows what's going on.
And I think that Stevens will take what he does really well and make him do it exceptionally well.
Yeah, right. If he buys into Steven's program, then we got somebody here. Otherwise, then we have a R.J. Hunter or a Fab Mello, and
there's always that.
yeah, right.
chance.
And then we'll
But
D League for life.
yeah, right,
they
exactly.
seem to be hitting on their decisions. So I believe they did their homework on this guy.
Well,
Look.
he kind of fell on it.
Yeah, Danny didn't seem too enthused either. He said, well, the guy fell to us, you know?
It's a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it pays through. All right, so boys, I have a dream. Okay, the free agency has started, but I'm obviously done the whole LeBron and Paul George stuff. That's not
Don't
gonna
want
happen
him,
to
don't
Celtics.
want him.
But who I want, and he's going to have to take a pay cut because he made like $22 million last year, is J.J. Redick. We saw where Redick and the Corvers of the world do to the Celtics. That's our one missing piece.
He's the pure shooter, right?
Pure shooter. I mean, he'd have to take the mid-level exception, which most likely be either 8 or 5, depending if they sign Marcus Smart. How would he look in a Celtics
That's
uniform?
a good point because I said that was the only thing that was missing, a swatter. They didn't have those drain guys like they saw in Corvers and Reddick.
Yeah.
You know, when
guys that were
the
automatic.
starters were out,
Middleton.
you noticed
Yeah.
Marcus
Yes.
Morris came in, and you're like, why is he taking all the shots? Well, he was the only really offensive weapon in the
Exactly.
substitution.
They don't have a
point.
pure. Well, Kyrie's a great shooter, but they don't have that one element guy when
Right.
it comes down to it.
Gordon
Offense.
Hayward might be that guy.
No,
for
but
you.
right, Joe. But he's a starter.
I'm
We're
talking about the
coming off
substitution
the
yeah,
bench.
package.
a microwave guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Morris just takes every shot when he's out there, and I don't think he's being selfish. I think he's being told when you're in there, you are our offense. We need another component to
Yeah,
this.
but
get to-
sometimes he stifles the offense by taking shots.
I think he's assigned to do that though, because if you look at who he's out there with Marcus. He's out there with guys
Yeah.
who can't shoot, you know.
And Marcus wants to throw.
You wanna
How
keep
many
it out of
times
Marcus?
Let me
Yeah,
tell you a
too.
joke. Let me tell you a joke. Not really a joke. I'm at the playoff game, and Smart has the ball. He's at the 3-point line, and you can see he's thinking about shooting a 3-pointer. And I have never heard it before or since. 15,000 people in choreographed synchronicity yelled no.
I know, but he slow shot it probably.
No, he didn't. He
Oh, no,
didn't. He
didn't.
stopped and he passed it.
All right, so guys,
That's what it takes.
guys, hey, don't think I don't have compassion for the sick. I really do, and you know anyone who's had problems physically. However, guys, I am so sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Gordon Hayward and his injuries and his rehab, and he's
And anti-gravity machines.
oh yeah, and
and
all this crap. You broke a leg. We get it. All right. Next time I want to hear about Gordon Hayward is when he's playing for the Boston Celtics. Would you agree?
I would agree with that now.
It's clickbait though. It's clickbait on the internet. Gordon Hayward, you see it, injury. What's his status? I mean, you're just drawn to it to read it. And
that's the only story he has.
yeah,
I know, but it's this millennial thing where they need the love all the time. Oh, and so he needs all these people to say, Gordon, hang in there. Are you serious?
It's like Ferris Bueller.
You're right. There's a lot of sick.
likes and loves you, Gordon.
There's a lot of sick people out there, right?
Yeah.
Who have a lot bigger problems than
know.
getting paid $23 million a year to rehab
you
a
see
broken ankle.
these pro athletes retiring at 38 and they've made $190 million and they're weeping.
You're right.
Come on.
So I don't really care, Gordon. I don't really care. Until you play for the Celtics, you're dead to me.
I am
You're absolutely
excited.
dead to me.
I am
What was that?
I'm excited to see this Celtics team next year. Though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all about the Celtics.
Oh,
All
my
right.
God.
So in our feature, would you do it? And I think
Yes,
you guys enjoyed
I will
the
say
first
yes to
part
this.
with the Red Sox.
This is
all right.
better.
So
This
the
is
would you
better.
do it for the Celtics? Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving, and the Sacramento pick, which never know what that could be.
It's only one protector.
for Anthony Davis.
In a heartbeat.
You do it?
I'd give another starter too.
No.
He is.
What other starter?
I
maybe
am
would you be
so
giving?
impressed with Anthony
Okay,
Davis.
all right, come on.
Yeah,
all
but
right,
who's
let's-
going to get him the
Wait,
ball?
other starter. This. You got to have
That's a
players.
big. That's a big ticket.
I'd do it.
All right, so Timmy, do it. Joe.
No, because we don't have. Then you don't have a point guard.
Well, you
And don't tell me Terry Rozier.
Terry Rozier.
He's a scrub.
No, look, he's 60% of Kyrie Irving. I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but look,
And 80% of most starting guys.
just remember how Anthony Davis is. Just remember how.
Oh,
he
I
plays.
know how dominant.
All right, would you do it?
I know Anthony Davis is special, but I just feel like that's a little heavy for me.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That was a fun feature.
Yeah, Kyrie and one of your wings.
I
Yeah.
think Anthony Davis. He's so impressive when you really watch him play. It's
Yeah, but you're taking
unbelievable.
two guys off the court.
No, I think my premise is that if Kyrie Irving is giving you any sniff that he's not re-signing with the Celtics, then this is.
I think
and Davis has a long-term
Anthony
deal.
Davis might be the best player in the NBA for the next 5 years.
Anthony Davis may end up being one of the top 10 players of
Well,
all
does that
time.
mean you would do it?
I would
Yeah.
absolutely do it.
And
Yeah.
you might be right.
Pete-
You got to know what's happening with Kyrie.
Yeah.
That's
I
what you got to know.
I didn't know what all this Anthony Davis talk was about. I went to the Celtics game against Anthony Davis. I was blown away
He's
with
awesome.
what this guy was.
I know. We got to go. All right, we're going to thank the boys. I want to thank everyone behind the scenes, of course. Thank you, Handsome Todd. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in 3 weeks. We're taking a 2-week hiatus with the 4th of July and July 11th. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. July 18th for another Grandstanders show. Also, Governor Michael Dukakis will be on August 1st. So that's our show for tonight. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.